guys, and welcome back to my channel. I just want to let you know that you are amazing, you are special, and you are so loved. Never forget that. Okay, so today's topic is, do you trust God to provide your daily bread? Matthew 6:11 from the Lord's Prayer says, "Give us today our daily bread." So what is our daily bread? What I concluded our daily bread to be is whatever we need to get through the day. So not just food, but our water, our finances, our strength. I started studying Exodus this week, and in that book of the Bible, you'll find the perfect example of God providing daily bread for the people of Israel as He is moving them out of the land of Egypt, where they've been oppressed, and He's moving them into the wilderness, basically to deliver them and to bring them to freedom. I'm not going to read all of Exodus today because it's a pretty hefty book, but I'm going to give you a couple of examples of where God provided daily bread and show you how daily bread is whatever we need from Him. So we're going to start with Exodus chapter 13, verses 17 through about 22. And it says, "When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, lest the people change their minds when they see war and return to Egypt. But God led the people around by the way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea. And the people of Israel went up out of the land of Egypt equipped for battle. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the sons of Israel solemnly swear, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones with you from here. And they moved on from Succoth and encamped at Etham on the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might travel by day and night. The pillar of the cloud by day and the pillar of the fire by night did not depart before the people." Okay, so what does that mean? It means that as God led these people out into the wilderness, they had no clue where He was taking them. They had to trust God in the form of a cloud by day, in the form of fire by night, to light their path and direct them to where they needed to go. So at any given moment, the direction could change from where God was, and they would have to follow Him. They didn't have this clear roadmap ahead of them where they knew where they were going. They were trusting God to provide each step of the way. Kind of like how we trust the GPS to get us to our destination. They were solely dependent on God to step by step, day by day, take them to where they need to go. And so that made me think, how many of us could trust God to lead us day by day? Like, could truly trust God, saying, I don't know what today has in store for me, but I trust you truly to lead me today, and not worry about tomorrow, just today, right now, right here. I don't know about you guys, but I know for me personally, that's something that's kind of hard. It's something that we have to learn to do. As you continue reading throughout Exodus, you'll see that the people of Israel are actually a lot like us. They complain, they don't trust God, they become fearful, and as soon as something turns shaky, they waver, a lot like we do. And maybe y'all aren't like that, but I know I am. I'm like, God, I've got a deadline approaching, and then I might try to run ahead and do whatever I can do on my own to make it happen, rather than really waiting and really trusting God. Learning to trust God day by day is a process. It's something that you really have to commit to, and you really have to focus on doing it every day. So as they continue through the wilderness, they see the Egyptians are approaching them, and they become fearful because they know the Egyptians are after them. They know they're probably going to hurt them, if not take them back into slavery, and so they become fearful. So I'm going to read Exodus chapter 14 and 10. Hopefully I'm not jumping around too much. I definitely suggest reading Exodus on your own if you want to learn more about it, but I just want to grab those key points to really show you God's great provision for us and how He provides for us day by day if we will allow Him to. So Exodus 14:10, when Pharaoh drew near, the people of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them. And they feared greatly, and the people of Israel cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, is it because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? What have you done to us in bringing us out of Egypt? Is not this what we said to you in Egypt? Leave us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians. For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. And Moses said to the people, fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent. That's a lot. Because oftentimes when we see things coming at us and things we can't control, we forget the Lord will fight for you. All you have to do is be silent. All you have to do is trust him. You don't need to fight a battle. You don't need to make your own way. God will provide for you. While they were mad and upset at Moses for delivering them from slavery, bringing them out of oppression, they cry out in fear, basically saying, we'd rather go back to slavery than to trust God. We'd rather go back to being slaves to the Egyptians rather than following what God has for us. Sometimes it's hard to trust God. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly where God has taken us. But it's important to remember, wherever God has taken us, it's going to be much better than where we come from. Yeah, you've had a past. Yeah, you've experienced this stuff. But where God is leading you now is going to be so much better than where you came from. So don't ever fall into that trap of not knowing what's ahead of you to the point where you're like, well, I'll go back to safety, or I'll go back to a bad situation, or I'll go back to oppression because I don't know what God is doing in my life. So as they continue on, God delivers them again like he always does, like he always promises. And they begin to sing songs and praises, and they're happy and they're glad, and they're like, thank you, Lord. You delivered us. You saved us. You protected us from the Egyptians. But then as soon as another problem comes, they go back and they waver and they falter again. I'm going to skip down now to Exodus 15, verses 22 through 26. Then Moses made Israel set out from the Red Sea, and they went into the wilderness of Shur. They went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. When they came to Marah, they could not drink the water of Marah because it was bitter. Therefore it was named Marah. And the people grumbled against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And he cried to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a log, and he threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. There the Lord made for them a statute and a rule, and there he tested them, saying, if you will diligently listen to the voice of the Lord your God, and do that which is right in his eyes, and give ears to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you that I put on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord your healer. Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the water. And what I gathered from that little section is, instead of grumbling and complaining about our problems, how about we bring it to the Lord and get our direction and our answers from him? They complained because they didn't have water, and they grumbled, we've been out here and we can't find water. And literally as soon as Moses prayed to the Lord about the situation, the Lord provided a way for them to get water. It wasn't until Moses cried out, then the Lord showed him the way to get the water. And then verse 27 says they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs, 70 palm trees, and they camped there near the water. So after Moses prayed, God provided them a way to get water. And not only did he provide a way for them to get water, he then brought them to a place where it was an abundance of water, where there were 12 springs of water. So they went from having no water at all to having an abundance of water just by asking him, just by asking God. So we're going to move into chapter 16. They set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the people of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month, after they had departed from the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the people of Israel said to them, would that we have died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the meat pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then the Lord said to Moses, behold, I am about to rain bread from heaven for you, And the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may test them whether they will walk in my law or not. After reading verse 3, I'm just going to throw this in for free, but God is not going to deliver you to let you die in the wilderness. God is not going to deliver you from oppression to let you die in the wilderness. He brought you out to bring you through. Verse 4 says, Then the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I am about to rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I might test them whether they will walk in my law or not. In verse 4, God is saying, I'm getting ready to provide for you. I'm getting ready to give you all bread. I'm getting ready to give you what you need, but I'm going to test you. So I'm going to provide you with just enough that you need each and every day. So not in abundance, not a store full for you to have enough and know you'll be good for the week, but I'm going to provide for you just enough for today to see if you really trust me. Are you trying to gather more than just your daily portion, and then you're getting frustrated when you can't carry the load? Sometimes the Lord wants to test us to see, do we really trust Him to provide for us day by day? Do you really trust Him, or are you going to try to gather a little bit more so you'll have enough for tomorrow, just in case there isn't enough, even though He's already said He's going to provide for you? So on New Year's Day, as I was writing in my prayer journal and I was praying and I was talking to God, I asked Him, what can I do today to deepen my relationship with you, to walk closer to you, and to really walk in my purpose? And His answer was that I needed to trust Him to provide my daily bread and to provide for me day by day. Asking, how do you want to lead me today? How can I fulfill your purpose today? How can I do what you called me to do specifically for today? And for me, that was a bit of a concept to grasp, because I'm a workaholic by nature. I'm a to-do list person by nature. I like to plan for the future far ahead. Like if I know something's coming up, I like to go ahead and start planning for it. I already want to start thinking about it and how I can get this done. But God was really asking me, what if your to-do list isn't my to-do list for this day? What if all the plans that you've written out and you've worked out within yourself isn't what I asked you to do? It's not what I told you to do. What if you're working hard, but you're not working on what I've called you to do today? And that was a lot, because I like to work hard. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean, God? And God is like, I need you to trust me to lead you day by day. So I really had to start slowing down every day and saying, God, you already know my needs. You already know my deadlines. You already know what's due, what I have to get done. I need you to help me, and I need you to lead me to do what you want me to do for today. Not what I want to do for today, but what you want me to do for today. I have to trust the plan that you have for me. This lifts the burden off of yourself, and it allows God to truly work. It's also going to build up your faith and your trust in God. It's like, Lord, I don't know where my next meal is coming from, but I trust you to provide. I don't know how I'm going to get all of this done today, but I trust you to give me the strength and the grace to get everything done that you've called me to do today. In the wilderness, they literally had to depend on God to provide for them day by day, moment by moment, step by step. Of course, in our minds, it's easy to become fearful. It's easy to doubt. It's easy to stop trusting God because what we see doesn't look like what we imagined, or it doesn't look like what He's promised us. But we really have to get to a place where we're trusting God day by day, and we're trusting the plans that He has for us. We know that the plans He has for us is good. So regardless of what it looks like right now, we know that He's going to provide for us. We know that He's got a future for us. God will provide. He provided for them day by day. They just had to trust Him. It's the same with us. He'll provide for us day by day. We just have to trust Him, and we have to let go of our own plans and our own agendas and our own schedules to really live life how He wants us to. Now, I'm not saying to not plan for your future, to not prepare for things and stuff like that. But what I am saying is, don't get so caught up in your future and your future plans that you're missing out on what God wants you to do right now, today, right here. Matthew 6:19 says, Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And the only way we can lay up our treasures in heaven is by honoring God, is by fulfilling God's purpose is by doing what He calls us to do each and every day. I don't know what your situation is, but I want you to know that God will provide for you, just like He provided for the people of Israel. And that's it for today, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and click subscribe and hit that thumbs up button for me if you haven't already. And take care. I'll see you in my next video.